You're listening to the Everything Went Black podcast.
Please welcome back Evan Hopper of Quell to the podcast. It's been a while since we spoke, but we have a great occasion to speak of the forthcoming Quell record of Lungs and Ashes. Evan has been a long time known associate of the Horsemen, and he's also contributed to the Patreon show Hollywood Babylon. Additionally, Evan has been a good friend over the past few years, so check it out. If you're listening to this show, if you're not doing so already, please check out the other podcasts brought to you by the Horsemen of the Podcasting Apocalypse. Kicking things off every other Monday, Brandon Legion brings us Horror Wolf 666. Up next, Jackie Smits Into the Necrosphere, followed by Wednesday, Everything Went Black, which you're listening to right now, and Iblis Manifestations. Thursday is Necro Thursday, where you can listen to the Necromaniacs Horror Podcast, as well as Day 1 of Soul Knocks, brought to you by Carl Hykara. Friday, Spitball Media comes at you. Saturday is a day off. So stay on course with your 2026 resolutions, because Sunday, Carl returns with Day 2 of Soul Knocks. And we are zeroing in on completing the Kane portion of the Darkness Weaves collaboration that we're doing. So tune in for that. Each month we alternate which podcast hosts that sub-series. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate all of you. And if you like the show, please share it on social media, give us a like, give us a review. But you can also join the Patreon. And for as little as $1 a month, you get all the bonus material. For $5 a month, you get early access to the regular shows plus the bonus material. And for $25 a month, you can promote one of your own projects as a sponsor. And welcome back, Evan. It's been a while.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah. And, happy birthday. Happy New Year. I wish the New Year had gotten off to a better start, but we were talking about that earlier. But, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, it's just got to stay positive, like I mentioned to you, I got this injury, and like, I couldn't have let it, immediately, like, I don't know. I've been like, my mind has been focused on like good things for this year. I'm just like trying to stay optimistic and positive, and like, I'm not going to let anything like slow me down. Like, even like something like this injury, like, I could have just like sat around and felt sorry for myself, but I'm like just getting up and just going for it. Either way, just adapting.
I mean, how does it affect? There's going to be a recovery though, pretty much full, right?
For sure, yeah. I mean, so like right now, my thumb is like completely immobilized, but I have to change my dressings, and like, so I guess for anybody like who's wondering, I smashed my thumb really good. I cut it open and I broke the bone in it. So like when I change the dressings out, I have to like stabilize it, and I can wiggle it. It's like somehow I managed not to. You've got like couple tendons that go like on the inside. I think they're called like the fascia tendons, and then on the outside you have your reflexors, which are like the big tendons. That's kind of what like you really use to like bend your thumb.
Right.
Well, those ones are completely fine. I didn't damage them at all. I did damage some of the ones on the inside, but I have enough of them still intact where like I have a range of motion back and forth. So I just have to like exercise them so that they don't become stiff and calcify. So as long as I do that, I do believe I'll be able to have my most of my like functionality with my thumb back. I mean, the main thing I was really worried about, honestly, and you understand this, is like, I was like, will I be able to hold a guitar pick again? And they're like, yeah, you'll totally be able to hold a guitar pick. Like, so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I can deal with the little stiffness. Like, that's fine. It's like, I just want to be able to play the fucking guitar.
I know, dude. That I worry about my hands all the time, man. Just like, I mean, I don't have a job where I'm in danger of getting injured like that. But it's like,
yeah, you never know though. I mean,
you never know, man.
You do fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, you
that's
could fall
exactly
on
right.
your hand or something and break a finger. Yeah, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, especially when I used to do a lot of jujitsu, like, your knuckles and your fucking hands are always like some of those guys who've been doing that shit for like, like black belts, their knuckles are all fucked up and everything.
Oh, I
And I'm
bet.
like,
I mean, you probably, I mean, you're grabbing dudes. I mean, like it wouldn't be that hard to like just jam your fucking finger or something. I'm sure you've done it before.
yeah,
Yeah. So
that's good. That's good to hear though, man. I'm glad. I mean, I don't know. Have you heard that a band called the Angelic Process?
I have not. No.
They it's a two-person operation. It was a man and his wife. They're long gone. I mean, literally long gone because they both passed.
Okay.
But the guy said he suffered a similar injury, not similar, completely different because he really could not have any use of his hand.
Okay.
And he like fucking killed himself, man. So I'm
Oh
just like,
shit.
yeah, this is the kind of like when you get injured in your hands, is the kind of mindset you have, man, about recovery and playing your instrument and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to contemplate that, but like I do think I
Yeah,
I do think I would try and find a way. I mean, like
yeah,
I'm inspired by like that was kind of like one of the things I was running through my head too. Like when like it happened, I was like, okay, well, if I can't, like, I was already coming up with ideas. I was like, maybe I can like come up with some kind of harness or like, I could like just glue a fucking guitar pick to a figure. I was already kind
yeah.
of scheming ideas because I mean, you know, I mean that's like it's a bad injury, but like I see people who like born with like birth defects and stuff like that who play guitar and like yeah, there's a guy who plays guitar with his fucking feet that I follow on Instagram,
Jesus.
like so like I was just like I'm not gonna let this get me down, like fucking we'll figure something out. If I have to Tony Iommi it like and like come up with some like prosthesis or something like that, like I'll figure it out. But
Yeah.
thankfully it looks like I won't have to do any of that. Just have to give my body time to recover.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah.
So the new album, man. Thanks for sending it over.
Sure, man.
What's the official release date on it?
January 21st.
Okay.
Yeah, I pushed it forward a little bit, and I was kind of it, I set a realistic date of the end of the month because I wasn't sure how soon I was going to get everything back as far as like CD pressing and everything, but all that went a lot smoother than I anticipated. So yeah, the official date is going to be January 21st.
Right on. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you for
man.
sending it over.
Sure.
I noticed that's looks like some Matt Prizzo artwork on
It
the
is.
album cover.
Yeah, it is. That guy, I mean, I've never met him in person, obviously, but over the, just through our circle of friends, I met the guy and I consider him I consider him a homie, man. Like
Yeah.
he's a nice dude. And I've talked to him here and there, a few times, even over the phone. And like, he's just real cool dude and real supportive. And, so when I reached out to him, to do the artwork, he was more than willing to do it, and I really appreciate it. I mean, he jumped at it, man, and like and he I had like kind of like an idea like that of something I wanted, but I also told him like just like whatever, and he ended up listening to one of the tracks that I already had finished, and he came up with that just inspired by listening to the music, which in fact I kind of like that more. So I ended up
Yeah.
scrapping the idea that I had and just going with what he had because I mean it felt like that fit it better since he was listening to it and that's what came to his mind, his creative mind when he was listening to it. So I'm really happy how it turned out. It's dope ass work.
I feel like that's always when you get the best result when you let the artist get inspired by the music.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've worked with a guy, Val Noir, and for two records, and he won't allow you to tell him what to do. He's like, don't try to tell me what the artwork's going to look like. If you don't trust me, work with someone else, basically.
Sure. I can
Yeah,
respect that though. I mean,
yeah,
you're coming to the guy because you like his work, so why get in the way of that, and I'm glad that Matt decided to take the reins in that regard because I mean I had a decent idea, but he ended up coming up with something way cooler than I had even envisioned. So like yeah, I'm happy with what he did.
yeah. It's and that's kind of like the point of this whole thing. Is we were talking about how Matt's a friend, and when you're doing creative stuff like this, it's always I don't know. I think it just adds more to the sort of continuum of the effort if everyone gets to express themselves. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in a band, everyone gets to contribute their own parts. And then even with the artwork, it's like, you're not directing him. You know what I mean? I think you always get the best results that way, especially with a guy like Matt, because Matt, you can't find a guy who's like more on point and on the same page as we are. You know what I'm trying to say? Like we're
Sure. Yeah,
all
yeah.
fucking into this, and he's a perfect guy to just kind of let go and do your thing. You know?
Yeah, I mean the dude lives it, dude. Like he's all about it, and so I fully trusted him, with everything, and I like I said, I'm really happy with the end result. Just yeah, it's nice. I think one of the best, well, one of my favorite things that I never really foresaw coming out of like starting Quell, back in 2019 was like, um, just 2018, was just like meeting guys like you and Matt and Jackie and Carl and like just you know people who I consider friends now that I can't imagine like not being in my life,
Yeah.
who I didn't know prior, and like that's like been one of the, like, honestly for me that's been one of the most like rewarding things that has come out of this project.
Well, that's ironically that's what all this connectivity through the internet was supposed to yield.
Right.
Friendship and collaboration, and sharing ideas and things like that. But instead of what the internet offers people, really, like
Yeah.
like the lion's share of the internet and online life is separation, division, hatred,
Right, yeah, exactly.
manipulation, like stuff like that.
Yeah, I try to. I'm definitely more advocate of utilizing it for the former, using it for positive and collaboration and meeting people. Like I think that is one of the wonderful things about it. And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean someone like Matt, for instance, or like your buddy Ralph or someone. I mean, I guess well you see him because you travel a lot more like with your band, but like someone like Matt, like I probably would never have met this guy. He's all the way in Australia.
Yeah.
So I mean like and it's it would have like I would have known about him, but the fact that I do know about him and I have met him is like it's wonderful because it's like he's such a like-minded like individual, and I appreciate his friendship, and it's like it's so great that you're able to find people out there in the world that otherwise you never would have known existed, and it's like it's sick.
When did you start writing this record? Like, how long did it take you to compose everything?
So I started the basic ideas. I started at the beginning of 2025.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I had three. Well, I had two songs which eventually ended up becoming the single Revenant. I kind of cherry picked riffs out of that and scrapped a couple riffs that I didn't like. And then I would say in July of 2025, that's when I really like was starting to finish like get real focused. I had gone out to California and met up with my buddy Mike, who has worked with me on some other records, helping me with the engineering side of things, and we kind of um, got you know talking and kind of made like a rough like plan on how we were going to start approaching this new record. So when I got back, like I said, I had three songs at that point, and I just continued like just in the spirit of like the vibe of those three songs, continuing to write. And yeah, I think I spent like maybe another 3 months on the writing. So like somewhere around in like September, like end of September is when I end of September, beginning of October is when I finished all the songwriting, and then we went through the process of going back and forth and messing around with the mix and the layout of the different songs, and just going back and forth with like just the different parts and everything. And then the lyrics, I always write the lyrics at the like last. I always kind of get all the music going first, and then I'll sit like once I know like once the song is pretty much where it's gonna be, like then I'll sit with the music, and then I just start kind of like going with ideas. And I kind of already had a theme for this record, so I kind of knew where I wanted to go lyrically with things. So yeah, but yeah, it's been about like I would say like consistent writing about 6 months of it, but like it's been a project ongoing for about a year.
I'm surprised it actually, the writing started and it was all done within a year, just because their songs are so diverse. You know what I mean? There's a real diversity with the material, and I would have thought it took several years to write it just because of that factor. You know?
Oh, thank you. No, I actually took a kind of a hiatus. I was going through some just emotional like darkness. So I had taken off like about a year of really not playing any music at all. And then as I was like starting to come out of that, I got inspired again. And a lot of times when I get in the writing mode, it's like I've always been kind of this way. Like I can just sort of tap into my personal muse and really like kind of come up with things. And then I might have like a stint where I don't do anything for a while. Um, and I mean, it's different when I'm like active, like when I'm playing like music live and stuff like that, because I'm in the practice space more often, so I'll come up with more ideas more regularly. But when I'm not doing that, um, yeah, I kind of just I'll get like in a I'll get a hair up my ass, and then I'll just like start writing a bunch of stuff, and like not everything obviously makes it. Like I think I probably with this record I actually had three more songs that didn't make it just because like either I wasn't that I didn't think that they fit the mold of everything, or like I just maybe couldn't figure out how to finish them. A lot of times that'll happen. I'll get like two or three riffs in a song and I really like them, but then I can't figure out how to tie them all together, bring it back
Yeah.
to the beginning. So they'll oftentimes kind of sit. I got like a whole I've got like a folder of like just all these things, and then I'll sometimes I come back to them like a year or two later, and then I'll load up that project in Reaper, and then like sometimes I come up with something, or like I've got one riff that I've had for I don't know maybe 6 years now, and I still haven't figured out how to finish it. And like I
Yeah.
don't know if I ever will, but it's like it's this I keep it, because maybe one day it'll fit something I'm doing, or it'll inspire me to write something else. So I never scrap them, but I didn't end up using a few things for this record.
It's always better to be in that position than to be like reaching. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's in some. I've been in that position where there's like the song doesn't feel done, you know what I mean, and then the song
Hmm.
just gets like tossed to the side or whatever. And but it's always good to have more than enough good material to put on the record. And I think that's probably like I said, the record. If you go down through all the tracks and you list everything, there's like it's a very diverse sounding album. I mean, there's like you get some, it's a little bit of death metal. There's a lot of like I'm gonna call them progressive vocals, like similar to the way like Isan does in Emperor, like that
Mm.
kind of. And I imagine that comes from the work you did in like the Venereal Latrine project. You probably I feel in my narrative in my head,
Yeah, you're completely right. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you were doing all clean vocals on that project, and I think
Yeah.
that informed a lot of the stuff on the new album.
I was trying to kind of I'm most proud of this record because I do think that it is exactly what you're saying. Like I think it is like a culmination of like all the different things I've worked on. There's um where like I've had some in my short amount of time doing this. I've had some albums that I think were fully realized, like The Cult is Dead, I believe is a fully realized album. It's a black metal album like through and through. But then there's been other records I've done that kind of I like them. I'm proud of them, but they kind of like they don't have really like a direction. And I think in this with this new record, like it's not it's everything. It's all it's a little bit of the death metal, it's a little bit of the black metal, it's some of the clean singing, it's some of the progressive stuff, but it's done in a way that I think really fits together well, where like one thing leads into the other, and it's not like I actually don't feel like this record, even though it does have such a variety to it, I feel like it all works together in a way.
Yeah, it's what I mean. It's like very much like a later Emperor record, where there's a lot of different you can see like all the influences because Isan's like obviously he's into like, you know, metal, progressive music, like his
Sure.
singing is all over the map, but it all makes one statement though, and I think that's this record is definitely unique out of all that out of your catalog. I think it's like probably the one that I want to be listening to more as the year goes on.
That's great, man. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's great, dude. I fucking loved it.
yeah, and that's the thing too. I think like who knows? I mean, I'm probably on some kind of spectrum or something, but like I get like it's hard for me to sit in just one little pocket too. I always have like a lot of ideas, and so figuring out this was a fun challenge to figure out how to incorporate all these different things that I want to do musically into one thing. You know, I like have, just and I still have more ideas of things that I want to do. Some stuff obviously, might not fit into a metal project, but yeah, it was fun to try and to do that to just like pick all the different like ideas that I was having and figuring out a way to make them work together cohesively.
Yeah. Is that a reverse reverb in the beginning of Revenant? Like when the song like kicks in like that whoosh, is that
Yeah, that's just like one of those up swoosh, like
yeah, I
yeah.
like that.
I
That's
love
like
that. Yeah, those are fun and like a couple little, like 808 drops and stuff like that, just
oh
to
yeah,
like
man.
add the explosion sound.
Yeah.
It's
808s are great. Like
Oh,
when you
they're
go on
awesome. They're so much
yeah.
fun. I used to like kind of like poo paw them when I first started, but like
No.
I think I just like didn't really understand how to incorporate them. But now I'm a big fan.
Yeah, it's like I was the same way. I used to think it was kind of like this kind of like new metal like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But we started using 808 drops in like when we go into like the slow parts on some of the songs, like the kind of more like slammy like parts on our songs.
Sure.
It works really well, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's just fucking heavy. Why not? I mean metal music is like a fucking, like a war zone. So why shouldn't you have like a bomb going off in your music?
Yeah. Same production staff involved in this one.
Yeah,
So
so
same.
it's Mike Sigler again. Him and I have gotten a pretty good rapport. I mean, I've known the guy for I don't know, it's probably like 15 years now at this point. Um, and we've worked together on most. I mean, I've on almost on every single release minus one of the like first EPs, the Turning the Sun to Stone. We've worked on every single record together, and it's real comfortable working with him. Like he understands my vision and my sound, and like we have a way of communicating together. And like even if we butt heads at times, like we always like I keep the vision alive, and like we work well together. And I'll be in about a week and a half. I'll be driving across the country. I'm moving back to California, and he's going to be about 20-30 minutes away from where I'll be living.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'll be able to work with him a lot closer, which will be just great. And he and I have already been. He's got his music bands projects that he's already doing, but yeah, he's ingrained into the scene out there. So he's going to be helping me put together a little skeleton crew to start doing some shows live with Quell again. So I'm excited for that, and so there's good things on the horizon, and like yeah, it'll be nice to see him again in person and to work with him more closely.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. I mean, I think especially this record would really lend itself to being performed live, you know.
Yeah, it's long overdue, man. I mean, I've got I've got quite a catalog of music now, and like enough music to where I could come up with a pretty decent set list, and I've been itching to get back into it. It's like my life's just been so all over the place, like moving back from Sweden and I was down in North Carolina for a while and that didn't work out and come back up here and the DC and my dad passing away and just
Yeah.
like it's just all kinds of shit happening where like it didn't really lend itself but to playing live, but I like I said, like I have like a newfound focus and yeah, it's gonna just be like working like with my career and working on my music and like just making that the main focus of 2026. So like that's the direction that I want to head in. And I think that I think now the storms, the waters have calmed enough where I can like go out, venture out into that unknown, well, that familiar territory.
What part of California are you gonna be moving to? Southern, northern, central? Like,
Central Coast, actually. I'll be living in an area called Pismo Beach, and
mhm.
it's right off the 101, about like an hour north of Santa Barbara, if you're familiar with like the California coast.
Yeah, the 101 goes right along the coast. So that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, the 101 and the one is the coastal highway, but that kind of like picks up and drops off at different parts. And the 101's a little bit more inland, but you can see the ocean. It's weird. They kind of run parallel with one another. So there'll be times where the 101's like inland and you don't see the ocean at all, and then it come back out and go along the water. But I'll be by the water, which I'm a big ocean guy. I not like in the ocean, but I love being by the ocean. So I'm excited to be able to go back and, just walk along the beach and go like hiking in like those coastal areas and stuff like that.
yeah, I agree with you, man. I'm a coastal person, man. Whenever I'm in these inland cities, like in the southwest or something, or Utah, I get like uncomfortable.
I do too. I get claustrophobic, man.
Yeah,
Like,
especially those
I'm not
areas.
don't want to talk down on anybody who lives in those areas, but it's like I could never envision myself living in like a Cleveland or something,
Well,
like
at least Cleveland's close to one of the lakes, you know what I
oh,
mean?
that's
But
true. That's true.
yeah,
Yeah,
but if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like dead in like that desert part of the country where it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah, no, that's not for me. I mean, it's cool for a visit, for sure, but like yeah, I need to be by like even if like I mean the ocean in a way is like more trapping in a sense, but something about having the horizon in the ocean to me feels like less oppressive in a way. Like I just
yeah.
feel like I can like kind of breathe a little bit easier and feel a little bit more at peace. Like when I feel claustrophobic when I'm like in like landlocked areas.
And the desert could fucking kill you, man. That's the thing.
For sure.
It's like I remember one time driving across like the Southwest. I think we were still in Texas, and it was right around the time of like South by Southwest. So there's like tons of people traveling, like, back to Austin and everything.
Hmm.
And I remember we stopped at like a rest area, and there was this dude. He was in some kind of like promotional vehicle. It was like, it was all has all skinned out, like some,
Uh-huh.
Monster Energy drink or like
Right,
some,
right. I got you. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And like there was no one in the rest area because like sometimes you go to these, there's like you'll see two cars the entire day, man. There'll
Sure.
be no one out there.
Yeah.
And this fucking guy was like in this like on his phone, his shit had broken down.
Man.
And I'm like, as we were driving away, I'm like, that guy might, fucking, he needs some
Yeah, you
water,
hope he's
man.
got like a jug of water on him or something, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
Jesus,
you're
yeah.
you're in a situation, man. If you like get stuck out there with no water, dehydrated, fucking scorpion kill you or something
No
like that,
shit. We're lucky we live in like an era, or I guess depends on how you look at it, but I guess we're lucky that we live in an era with cell phones. But I mean, can you imagine being out there with like no fucking cell phone or no service? Like, I mean, like, yeah, dude, that's a good way to just end up missing and no one ever finds your ass. Like,
dude. And like years before that, I remember driving, and this is when I learned to always have a jug of water and like never let your gas get below half a tank when you're driving
sure.
through there. We were like driving across Arizona, and there was you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll gas up at the next one. We had like a quarter of a tank, and
Right,
I
right.
was like,
There was no next one.
and I was like, I also had no water, and I was
Oh,
like, and it's dry as hell, man. So you're like, you don't really sweat, but I'm like, oh,
right, right.
I don't feel so good, man. Like, I got a little bit of headache. I feel lightheaded, and I'm like, hey, man, give me water. I don't have any water, man. Like, and like,
Man.
then I see a sign for a mobile station. I'm like, okay, cool, we'll get gas. We pull off, and there's like the remains, like the
Of the pump.
ruins. Yeah, there's like the ruins of a mobile station.
Oh man.
And I was like, fuck. But we ended up making it though. But
That's
it was like,
good. Yeah. No, that's 100%. Like I'm actually taking the 40 across and I've done it before. I've driven it a few times actually. But yeah, when you get out to like once you pass Texas, like you get like you go through like Amarillo and then like Groom, Texas. Like when you hit Groom, Texas, it's like nothing for like a while. And then like you'll get into New Mexico and you'll hit like Albuquerque. And then it's like nothing for a
Yeah.
while. And
Oh yeah.
like, yeah, you need to absolutely like make sure, tires are aired up. You want to make sure you got gas, got water, because like, yeah, for sure. This will be my first time doing it in the winter though. I've like for whatever reason, I've only ever driven across the country in the summertime. So I'm actually a little excited to see like I've never been in the desert during wintertime. So,
Yeah.
I hope the weather's not bad, but I would like to see like maybe some snow on like the desert ground. Like I think that'd be kind of neat to see. So
Well,
we'll
it,
we'll
it won't be 110 degrees Fahrenheit when you're driving through
that's
that,
true.
which is good.
I
Yeah.
remember, I remember like one of my first times doing it. I had this Honda Accord, and I didn't have any AC in this Honda, and so I'm driving across. I had to have like the windows down because it's like you're just sweating because like it's sun's just beaming on you all day. Well, like I was wearing like just short sleeves shirt and shorts, the whole time, because I'm just fucking hotter than hell. And like I think I was in like I must have been in like Arizona when I finally realized what I had done. But I had had my arm and my
Oh
leg like
yeah.
exposed for so long that my left arm and my left knee was like sunburnt all the
Yeah.
hell, right?
Oh yeah.
So I ended up taking like t-shirts and towels and like using the seatbelt. I like wrapped my arm up with like a towel and like because I couldn't. I mean, even with the sunscreen on, like it was just like baking me. Like because once you're burnt, it's like 10 times worse. And I ended up driving like the rest of the way with all these like articles of clothing like just draped over my body, so like I wouldn't get any more burnt by the sun.
Yeah, dude, it's some real Mad Max shit out there
It
driving
is,
across the
man.
Southwest, that's for sure.
Yeah, you see some shit like, you've never, fucking like armadillos and like all kinds of things that we don't have up here on the like the northeast coast and east coast. Like,
Yeah.
but it's cool, man. Like, like again, like I wouldn't want to live there, but like I'm never like one of the things I like about the desert is like the at nighttime, man, like in certain parts, man, the sky is just like crazy looking. Like you see like the whole Milky Way and like
Yeah.
it's so flat.
There's no light pollution out
There's no
there.
light pollution. There's
Yeah.
no mountains or nothing. So like you can just see in every direction forever. And it's like it's almost terrifying. You look up and you're just like, holy shit! Like you really feel like you are on a rock hurtling through space. And like I've been like through the desert when there's been storms, and like a desert storm is pretty cool. And I've seen like some dirt devils, like those tornadoes made of dirt and like
Yeah.
dust and like so there's some cool things about it. Like it is like another planet for sure, and like I'm grateful to have the experience, but I definitely don't want to live in the desert. It's not for me.
Yeah, dude. Last year I drove for work, actually, for my job. I was from Albuquerque to Truth or Consequences, New Mexico,
Which is such
right?
a crazy name for a town.
And I get out of the plane, get off the plane, and I go to get to the car, the rental car, and I'm like, what's that? I feel something grit in my mouth. Right?
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's that all about." So literally right after I get out onto the highway, it's a fucking sandstorm, dude.
Oh wow.
And I've driven through like whiteout snowstorms,
Sure.
but not never a sandstorm. This was my first sandstorm, and
But it
it
was
was
like the
like,
equivalent, but just with
yeah,
sand.
man,
That's
absolutely it
that's
was.
wild.
Yeah. And it was like very, very much like white knuckling it the whole way. I'm doing like
Sure. It's like
20,
you're like on
15,
a
20 miles an hour, you know?
like you're on Arrakis or something like that, like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Dune.
And you can see like all the old timers, like the legit, desert folk, like they understand. They just pull their trucks over and they're like 20 feet off of the highway
Right, right.
because
So
they're
no one
like,
slams into them.
yeah, man,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have like a whole technique with it, and I'm just like
Just
crawling all the
get me
way
through
through.
this shit. Yeah.
Yeah. It was scary, man.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. I've been in rain like that before where it's like I don't think it is safer to pull over like for me, I'm just saying like I've been in like that situation where I'm wondering should I pull over or should I just keep driving and like like out here on the East Coast, the shoulders aren't like as wide as they are out there in the desert, so I like I've just white knuckled it too through like rain where like windshield wipers going full blast, and it's just like someone standing on top of your car with a bucket of water
Yeah.
just pouring, and just like praying that like I'm gonna get through this shit. you know,
Yeah, you just gotta
uh,
go keep slow, keep it,
yeah. It's
go
not too bad.
slow and stay composed and just keep your
Sure,
eyes open.
sure. Yeah. But it's wild. But I think I think there's a part of you and me kind of are that type. We kind of enjoy a little bit of that wildness. Like it's not boring doing shit like that.
Yeah, totally. So you had some guests on this record too.
Yeah. So Mike did the final song with me. He like I mentioned before, he's got his own project called two of them. He's got one band called Bears and another one called Catacombs. And the final song, Anguish, I had like this riff that I had written that was I call it the Deftones riff, but like I just felt like it kind of fit his vocal style. And so um I asked him if he'd want to do it, and he said yes. And then on the song right before it, the casual void, I had my buddy Jake Super Chi from the band Uwada guest on that, and I was really stoked for him. His contribution to he's another guy I met through the pandemic, just talking online, and he's always been real friendly and willing to talk and stuff like that, and he's a I guess he's a he enjoys my music and stuff, and so we've over the years I've talked to him, like I said, since like late 2018 2019 is when I first started talking to him, and like we just had a correspondence over the years, and then I was writing this song and I had him in mind for a while. I wasn't sure if he would do it because, like, he's like, his band's like your band. He's pretty active touring and stuff like that. So I wasn't sure if he would have the time, but he actually was excited to work on it, and so that was really cool. And kind of like in what we were talking about earlier with Matt. So I wrote the lyrics for both the parts in both respective songs, but I told the guys, like I didn't really. I in my mind I did have like a way that I was like singing the lyrics like as I was writing them, but I told them to just kind of do their own thing. I didn't do any sort of direction or anything. I just gave them the lyrics and
Oh,
said
cool.
have fun with it.
Oh,
So
so you didn't send him like a map, like a vocal pattern, like
no, I
rough
just sent him
mix, rough track.
the just the lyrics with where he came in and where he got where I wanted. I had him like where I want you at, but that was like
Yeah.
the only real guidance that I gave him, and I was actually kind of happy with that. Like people will hear like he did something on this record that he doesn't really do with his project Uwada. He actually did some clean singing, and I was really stoked for him to like kind of take the reins and like, and it was crazy. Like I assume I won't speak for him, like, but he did say he had fun doing it, and that seems that way because when he sent me back the vocal tracks, he sent me like I had like 6 tracks from the guy because he did like all these different layers and all
Yeah.
this different stuff. And I was like,
Oh,
no,
it's
that's really
killer.
dope, man. Yeah, like he didn't just phone it in. Like he actually sat with it and like, took him a couple days and he gave me back something really nice. And the same with Mike too. Mike, I wrote the lyrics for the parts that I wanted him to sing on, and then he actually took some liberty himself, and he didn't rewrite any lyrics, but what he did was he kind of like hacked them up and moved things around the way that
Oh,
he thought that they should go. And again, I just said like, have at it, man. Like I wanted both the guys to feel comfortable, and like what we were talking about with Matt, like I wanted them to be inspired, and like not just like me like controlling the whole thing and be like, no, it has to be this fucking way. Like I took my ego out of it and I just let them do what they wanted to do. And I'm really happy with the results.
yeah, dude. It record really, it has like this kind of narrative to it, like sometimes you listen to records and you kind of zone out after a while. There's some records that I'll listen to that it's like the same thing over and over and over again. All the songs have the same, vibe. The arrangements are similar. the vocal approach is the same, and you just kind of like, all right, and like start looking at your phone or something,
Sure.
but like this one, there's like each track really has its own distinct characteristic, and you were saying that there is um a loose narrative or a theme or some sort of intention for this the lyrics. So like what's the story you're trying to tell on this album?
It's sort of like I mean, to boil it down like to the most basic, it's kind of like a life and death like sort of tale. Of lungs and ashes, like the title's like, you when you come into this world, like you're a baby and you're like screaming, so that's of lungs and stuff. And then when you die, oftentimes you're cremated, and you reduce back to ashes. So like the album starts off, I kind of like, because I mentioned earlier, like I was in a kind of a dark spot for about a year and I wasn't feeling very creative and I was feeling kind of self-destructive a bit, like in a way. And I wasn't like, I wasn't where I wanted to be. And then like I was able to pull myself out of that, like not only by myself, but like with the help of some good friends. I mean, even you had talked to me at certain
Yeah,
points, um and so like revenant, like that's just just a fancy word for like a zombie, like a reanimated thing. So that's like, the track starts off with, me climbing back, out from the grave, and that's kind of how I felt, and coming back with like a newfound vigor. And it's, I mean, the subject matter is like, in the song is like talking about like, like crushing my enemies and all that kind of stuff. But really, like it's more personal than that. It's like really just like me, like, rising up against my demons and the side of myself that I don't want to be a part of. And then like throughout the record, there's like, it kind of goes into areas of like of confusion and being lost in like in the void, and dealing with like depersonalization. And then the end record is anguish. It's like it's feeling so overwhelmed that like the character takes its life, and that's not what I'm not going to do
obviously that's
anything
not what you're
like
doing.
that.
I hope.
No,
Yeah,
but it is like it's reflective of how I felt, during that time. And so, and when I was just kind of tapping back into those emotions and those feelings as I was like doing this record. And so, yeah, it's sort of like a secular idea of like, getting to that anguish spot, and then, like maybe spiritually having like a spiritual death, and then, coming back again as the revenant. And so like having this like of lungs and ashes concept of like just, start and finish, life and death, birth and rebirth, and that kind of deal.
that's cool. No, that's awesome. I kind of suspected that was like what the vibe was, and
Yeah.
even
I mean,
even
it's
the
not like it's
title
not
too.
some like, concept that's never been done before, but it's
No,
something I was feeling like inspired to write about. So,
right, but also there's a certain like what's important though is like when your lyrics reflect your intention though, you know what I mean? It's like some people could be like, oh, this record's about like fucking, you know, the cosmic rift or whatever, and all the songs are about riding, like, like you don't get that from the lyrics,
sure,
you know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's good to like, have the concept be like the result, like the expressed well, and that's I guess that's what I'm saying.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I actually was really happy with the lyric writing this time around. I think it's like some of my best lyric writing. And it was also like the most challenging singing wise, because I didn't hold back on like the word usage. Like, so I have
Yeah.
like there's some riffs where I'm feeling every single note is filled in, with vocals. And like, so a lot of times I had to do a lot of takes.
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of takes.
No, that's it's forever, man. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like these tracks are gonna live on. It's like this is the definitive versions of these songs. So it's best to take your time doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was something I was really, keen on doing too, is like not rushing through it, like, I'm sure you get this way too, you start seeing the finish line and you just want to be done. But, then you have to really dial, work on dialing it back. And I'm grateful for Mike, in that regard. He's, I've put the poor guy through hell because he's like, nah, we gotta take our time with this. And I'm like, I just want to be fucking done with it. He's like, nah, you say that, you're like, but you really want to take your time with it. And he's right. It's better to like just, slow down, go over everything, make sure, and you end up finding something you're like, oh shit, I need to fix that, or like, oh, I'm not happy with that. So it is good, to really, just slow down, check yourself, and like not get too focused on the finish line, like it'll come when it comes.
You track most of this stuff on your own though, right? Like a lot of the guitars and
Yeah, everything's tracked at home.
yeah.
I've got my like little studio set up, so everything's tracked here, even the vocals. I do all that here. And then I ship off all the stems over to California to Mike, and then we kind of just work back and forth using Google Drive, and and just like folders, folders on folders.
Yeah,
and
dude.
and it's been, yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that could be good and bad because like the last Tombs record we did all pretty much I recorded all the guitars here in this room
Hmm.
and the vocals I did down in the practice space, but the and then you know it was mixed. So sometimes like you end up overkill with over scrutinizing things, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, so it's like a thin line, man. You got to navigate that line of when you're done and when you're not done, and when enough is enough, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is an interesting one, because it always changes. Like sometimes, you write something and you're like, it just feels like, yeah, this is it. And then yeah, there are some things where like you could just go fucking forever with it, and you just have to like put your foot down and be like, yeah, this is done, like it doesn't need anything more to, like it just is what it is. Thankfully this time around I didn't really have that too much. I didn't have too much of a problem with that. I guess at first I did, like I said, there was a couple of riffs that didn't make it onto this record. But then I just decided, I'm just gonna move on past this. Like I was getting hung up on like one song in particular. I still think about it. Like I got hung up on it forever. Like I had about like 2.5 minutes of this song that I really liked. I still might use it, but like I really liked it, but I just could not figure out how to get out of like the spot I was in. I just kept on like, I'd write a riff and I just like, nah, it's not it, and delete it and write a riff. And like I probably spent a week on just that
Mhm.
thing, like coming, not consistently, but every night, for about a week, I'd come to it and sit with it for like an hour, and like I just couldn't get out of it. Like, so I just finally just said like, that's it's not meant to be for this record, So I just put it in like the incomplete projects folder, and I'll go back to it at some point.
I got one more question for you, man.
Sure, man.
All right, so what's the story with this Star Night movie that you put on our thread last night? What the hell is that
Yeah,
all about? I never even
dude, I'm
heard of
just
it.
like, it's on Amazon Prime. Like they've got like this whole like sci-fi fantasy like free to watch stuff, and so like I just been kind of going through it, and like I just stumbled across this movie called Star Night. It's like a 1982 or something like that, and it's Harvey Keitel. It's so weird. It's like it's set in like medieval somewhere, I don't know, England or something. And like there's like this tale of like a dragon. Well, the dragon turns out to be like a UFO, and
Oh, hell yeah.
it's like there's like an alien guy, but he looks like Sting from Dune, but like but he doesn't speak, and like he abducts the princess, and the princess falls in love with him, and like it's weird. But it's got Klaus Kinski and Harvey Keitel in it. I mean, Klaus Kinski's just fucking over the top Klaus Kinski. Um, his acting is whatever, it's what you're gonna get from him. But the fucking thing that was cracking me up was Harvey Keitel, because he just does Harvey Keitel like he's the wolf, like, but he's in medieval England. So he's got like armor on, he's riding a horse, and
He's riding
and
a
he's
horse.
yeah, and he's speaking like, he's saying like my lord and all this kind of stuff, like, like Shakespearean speak, but he sounds like he's from fucking Brooklyn. Like
That's awesome, man.
he doesn't even try to have an English accent or anything. It's just Harvey Keitel, like it's like the wolf from Pulp Fiction riding a horse, like fighting with swords, and it's hilarious, dude. Like, I mean, is it a good movie? Like, absolutely not. It's dog shit. It's a dog shit movie. But like, I was just like, I was watching it more just for the like the hilarity of it. Like,
I'm gonna watch that, man. It sounds interesting.
yeah,
But yeah, that's like they cast him in Last Temptation of Christ too,
right, right. I knew
and
none of
it's the
that. Yeah,
same
yeah.
deal. It's like it kind of takes you out of the like there's
The
like certain
immersion.
people you can't, like you just don't see him in that. It's like Frank Vincent or something like that being in
Sure,
like
dude. Yeah,
a
no.
medieval movie or something.
No, it fully takes you out of it from the moment he starts talking. He's like in the first scene of the movie, and the moment he starts talking, you're just like, what the hell? Like I was almost expecting it to be like sort of like a Army of Darkness, right? Like like maybe he's like from the future or something. But no, he's actually from that era. It's just he just never tried to do anything. It's yeah, Star Night. It's worth it just for the laugh. I mean, it's definitely a spectacle. I just like some of those sorcery movies, like sword and sorcery movies, are like, you'll find a couple of them here and there that are actually pretty decent, and then like, but a lot of them are just like schlock that was like trying to like, like capitalize off the success of like Conan the Barbarian and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So they're just like they're all like Saxon videos. It's like what they all
Oh
end
yeah.
up being,
Yeah.
like, and like they're good for a laugh, and they're good for a watch. And like I just like, sometimes I get burnt out on horror. Like, I watch like that's pretty much all I ever do watch is horror movies. So like I want something different. And I'm not really a comedy guy. Like I
Yeah,
never
me
really
neither.
get into comedy movies. So sci-fi and that sort of thing is kind of like what I go to, like if or like a documentary if I'm like trying to like watch something different. So I just watched Fitzcarraldo the other night too, which is I haven't seen that movie in like forever. It's a Werner Herzog film,
Oh,
another
cool.
Klaus Kinski movie, and that's a good movie. I hate the ending of that movie, but it's a good movie overall.
That's like the classic lineup of Herzog and Klaus Kinski.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that and like a Gary Wrath of God and like the Nosferatu the Vampire. Like those are like the quintessential Kinski Herzog movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so as far as some of the pressing stuff, like is you did the CDs yourself and everything, right?
Yeah.
So what how cost wise, like is it reasonable to do that stuff? Like I'm just completely I haven't done any of this stuff ever in my life, so I'm just real curious about how the process of doing that. Like, do you have to like can you press up like what kind of pressings do you have to do to make it like cost effective?
I mean I can tell you off air, but like yeah, I mean I do like 50 to 100 and I get a pretty decent breakdown on that. Like after after the cost of manufacturing it and like the actual cost of shipping the items out to people who buy it, like I come out like maybe like a couple of dollars on each sale. So I mean I'm a net positive on my investment. It's not like I'm not getting rich off it by any means, but I don't end up losing any money,
Yeah, yeah,
out of doing
because
it. The one
like
thing that like is like probably like the for me right now, just because I'm not like at the scale that like you are, or like t-shirts, like I don't make it like, if I make t-shirts, usually it's more of like because I want I want a t-shirt for myself, like I don't end up making any money off of the t-shirts. I usually, in fact, like the last batch of t-shirts I did, I wouldn't say I lost money, but I think I broke even on my investment on the t-shirts, like. So
well, when you start playing live, man, that's when you probably start really moving those because that's like I'm that's really where like you start moving t-shirts. It's like at the live shows. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
for
Yeah, I mean
sure.
sure people order them, but like the two kind of go hand in hand. You know what I mean? It's like
Absolutely, yeah. And that's
yeah,
the thing too, like, if I'm not, because I'm not playing live, I'm not like able to really like hold on to like a large inventory. So, I don't get like the price breaks,
right.
because I'm not getting 100, 200, 300 t-shirts, I'm getting 20, 30 shirts, and so like I'm paying practically full price on the manufacturing of them. But the CDs, like, it's kind of a unique situation. Like I know the guy who runs. I used to like do landscaping for the dude who runs the printing company that I use that makes the CDs. So and he's not giving me any kind of a discount per se, but like it's I he does work with me. I can go pick them up. So there's no shipping cost involved for me to
Nice.
like to get the CDs and stuff. So yeah, I do all right on the that's pretty much what sustains this project is my CD sales. And I mean, I get some streaming, but like that's nothing.
You need to
That's
be
not-
like, like you need to have like serious numbers to make any money
I
off of
mean, to
that.
put it in perspective for people, I started this project in 2019. I've never withdrawn from my DistroKid account, and I have like $30 in there. So,
But at least I look at that more as like promotion, really. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like where people
yeah,
can
yeah. I'm
listen,
not
find out about the band, you know?
sure, sure. And for me too, it's like it's just I'm still a fan of music, so for me, it's just fun to like even have my music to be able to search for myself is still like that's really the big reward, you know? Like I had never went into this with any kind of like I mean it'd be nice to do it for a living, but I'm a pragmatist. Like I know like that's not, that's not that's something you have to put a lot of years into and a lot of work into, and I haven't been able to do that. And like, so I'm a realist, like, but like just being able to have my music on Spotify and like stuff like that's like cool to me. Like,
Yeah, that's I'm asking because like I'm trying to like all the external Tombs projects I have,
right, like Skeleton Throne or Scorpion Throne and
Scorpion
stuff like that.
Throne,
Yeah.
yeah, Vasilic, like all that stuff, and then now I got this Hollow Lands project I'm doing with Carl and Drew Goth. Like,
I'll send you when we get off of here,
yeah,
I'll send you the link to the place I use, and then like you just they can do it for you, but like I would recommend you do the layout yourself,
yeah,
or if
yeah, I
you have
got
like a
someone for that.
or
Yeah,
someone do work with do that. Yeah, do
yeah,
that. But there's like templates you can download that like, you just lay your artwork over top of that. That's what I
uh-huh.
do.
Okay.
Um and then yeah, you just upload your audio and they'll do like the whole printing and shrink wrapping and mail it out to you. Since you're up there, they'll ship it to you. I don't know what it costs because I don't do that, but you can
But
get it
even
shipped to you.
even like the DistroKid stuff, because none of those projects are out on any of the streaming platforms. They're just on Bandcamp right now.
Right, right.
So that's what I mean. I think it's cool for like people to at least find out about the band, you know?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I'm stoked. I love your side project. I still have the one. I have the first Scorpion Throne cassette that you gave me.
Oh,
Like
cool.
yeah, it's dope.
Thank you.
And you just finished up the second one, right?
Yeah, actually, Matt mixed that.
Oh,
It was a
sweet.
yeah, yep. Second one just finished, just came out with on New Year's Eve actually.
Oh, dope. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to listening to it yet, but I will. I'm excited for that.
I like it. I think it's once again that's a band that's like we're possibly going to try to do some shows this year. Nothing too extensive because
Cool.
everyone's lives in different cities and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Well, that'd be nice. Yeah, I mean, give you an excuse to hang out with your buddies again too.
yeah, no,
Like haven't
totally.
seen in a while. Yeah, sick. Well, keep me
All right,
posted on that. Especially if you guys end up coming anywhere on the West Coast.
we'll
I mean,
do, man.
I'm sure I'll see you again with Tombs. Like
Yeah, we'll be
yeah,
out
yeah.
there.
Right on, man.
All right, dude. Thanks for your time. And
Yeah, thank
yeah,
you.
so once again, just give us like the release date and where to find all the material for the new Quell record.
Sure. So it'll record comes out everywhere January 21st. You can go over to Quell, that's QUELL.bandcamp.com if you want to purchase you a CD or even get the digital copy. It helps me out a lot, so I appreciate that. And yeah, if you just want to listen to it, it'll be on all the like major streaming platforms as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I look forward to putting out newer stuff in 2026 and forward.
Thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you next week.